Yeah, that's the name of the show.
The name of the show is Still Toking?
Still Toking with, and they're still toking with Marty.
But toking as in the pun of, a joint, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. Here you go.
And Marty has left the room.
No, it's funny. I mean, do you talk about that?
Sometimes.
No, well,
depends on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, the subject of marijuana comes up.
If you would like it to.
No, I have no problem with it.
I tell you what, let me play the intro, and then when we come back, we'll get into that.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on, follow us to the new revolution. Come on, step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on, follow us to the new revolution. Not just battle, I am never losing. I'm choosing to ignore the cuts and bumps and bruises. I'm cruising through these haters, leave them looking stupid. They foolish if they think they'll ever hear my conclusion. I'm through with all these part-timers and their excuses. I'm bruising eagles left and right every time I do this. I'm shooting for the top, no I'll never settle where you did. roaches. In my hands, my grip will never loosen. My crew is ready to obtain the absolution, removing any doubt that we was ever fooling. So come on, step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on, follow us to the new revolution. Come on, step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on, follow us to the new revolution.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You're watching Still Toking with. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. And this is going to be an awesome show. I'm extremely excited about it. But we're kind of missing somebody. So, Jeff.
Yeah, we're missing somebody. Hey, what's going on out there, everybody? Yeah, so Ben's a little under the weather. Happens to us all. So he left me not alone because we have a special co-host. Say hi to Justin.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
welcome, Justin. Thank you for filling in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, Justin.
Are you really?
Always. I mean, that's the thing. I'm always down. You act like I don't watch your show. So.
Oh, I know you do.
Yeah, I know.
So, Justin, where are you from?
Well, let's see. I am on a podcast called Geek Life HQ. I have another podcast that's all about Ninja Turtles called Epic Tales from the Sewers. You can find me on the Dorkening podcast, Comics Paradox, and the Dork Night Show. And usually I'm just kind of hanging around, talking about comics and movies and stuff.
I've heard of some of those.
Yeah. You may be on some of those, Leo.
Maybe. So, Jeffrey.
Yes, sir. So you're doing well, right?
I am.
Okay, good. So, yeah, we have a great show. I'm excited. Never seen it before. Let's welcome Marty Grabstein, best known as Courage the Cowardly Dog's voice, correct?
Yes. No.
Did I say that right this time?
It's the voice is inherent, actually. I think. I don't know.
The voice.
The voice. One of those dead moments.
Yeah, that's what I'm just waiting for.
I'm telling you, man, folks, this is going to be a rough hour. I'm telling you, all you lovely fans out there who watch Token with. By the way, I want to go on record as saying this opening. I was like blown away. I mean, it was like all I know is I'm waiting for the graphic sex, situations, all of those things. I'm imagining that we're going to be supplying some of that stuff, right?
Well,
yeah, you can't see what's going on.
You're the nudity.
Yeah.
Oh, the nudity, right? Exactly. So that's kind of But
yeah. Well, I mean, with YouTube being with YouTube being as strict as they are, we put that just to make sure we cover all bases. So you never know. Like there could be a trailer that shows some nudity, or we just cover all bases. Make sure this is an adult show. Everybody knows that it's an adult show. Even though it's based off of a comic book, it's still, adults.
Well, comic book's adult.
Clothes, right?
Right?
Yeah.
What comic book is it based off of?
Talking with the Dead.
Oh, okay. That's right. I didn't even realize that. That's right.
So you catch on pretty quick.
Thanks, man.
So tell us a little bit about Courage. How did Courage come to be?
How did Courage come to be? All right. Well,
sounds like a Shakespeare line.
Courage came to be that I basically, well, I don't know how it came to be. You'd have to talk to John Dilworth about how the whole concept came to be. It actually began as it was a short film that he created in 1995, and it was called The Chicken from Outer Space was the title of the film, and I wasn't the voice for that character, and it was a short film about this little pink dog that lives with his family. Well, his master, an elderly lady, an elderly man in the little country house in the middle of a town called Nowhere, where all kinds of crazy things generally occur. And so and generally this dog is so neurotic, so frenetic, so terrified of things. He's very, very type A personality, and he's terrified, and yet somehow, as all kinds of monsters and forces of evil that seem to threaten their idyllic environment in Nowhere, somewhere along the line, the little dog rises to the occasion, faces his fear, and saves the people he loves, and ultimately the world itself, right? So it's kind of a cool idea, the idea of facing your fear, kind of a cool thing. So it started off as The Chicken from Outer Space. It was nominated for an Academy Award, actually, for Best Short Subject. It didn't get it, but it certainly got some noise from that, and I think got Dilworth the funding and the sponsorship to make a series out of this Courage the Cowardly Dog. And so how that came to be was basically they assembled the voice actor. They got the scripts first, and then they assembled voice actors. They had kind of everybody except for the lead character of Courage. Dilworth could not quite figure out how he was going to go with this character. It was very hard to say, and there was a lot of weird stuff about it. Was the dog a talking dog? He did have lines, and yet nobody could hear the lines. His masters didn't hear the lines, but we could hear the lines. So were they his thoughts, or evil characters can hear the lines, or his friends that he meets in the cuckoo world that he inhabits can hear the lines? It was a very wacky thing. So basically he came up with an idea that he's going to go against the grain of what maybe somebody would choose vocally for what this character would be like, but he didn't know how it should actually specifically sound. So I get a call from a really good friend of mine who unfortunately I'd fallen out of touch with for a few years, Risa Newworth. She called me up and said, "Hey, Marty, I'm working for a guy named John Dilworth, and he's putting together this new cartoon series, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and he has been listening to every voice actor in the city. He's heard over 200 voices, and he over a period of about 4 or 5 months, and he can't decide what to do, who to choose, what to do." So she said, "At this point, I'm going out of the usual areas and into the, on the outskirts of life where I resided." And, many people might even say continue to reside. But that's another story. That's that we do that when Ben comes back, because Lee's going to need the help, Ben's help with that discussion. But this
goes back to that Clockwork Orange discussion, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I'm still waiting for where the chickens come in.
No, well, I'll tell you that.
There's a duck. But
basically, she calls me in. She said, makes an appointment. Within 2 minutes, there was something going on that I knew there was a connection with Dilworth, and there was laughter about the way I was doing it. I had no thoughts about how to do it. I walked into the audition. I was a blank slate. I didn't know I had no idea. So I just started doing it based on the way the character looked and coming from my own frenetic personality anyway. And so he was really loving that, but he said, can you just pitch it high? Just pitch. Everything you're doing is great. Can you just pitch it high? Like this, up here at this level. And he goes, yes, that's it. That's it. That's the voice. I think we got it. And that was it. And he said, I just got to okay it with Cartoon Network, and we should be good to go. So he takes this guy with, as you can hear, a kind of a deep, raspy kind of voice, and chose him to go up here. And so it's really unconventional choice, but I am grateful. That's all.
Now, is it hard to do that voice? I mean,
Well,
it sounds painful.
Yeah. I mean, it can be after a while. Well, believe it or not, it's not as hard as you think. Because when I go up like this, I'm using at least some of my head voice. Whereas actually what I'm doing now, is actually more destructive to my vocal cords than when I go up here. Because it's almost like what happens when someone does a falsetto and they're not supporting it with their throat, but they're supporting it with their diaphragm and their, the vibrating in the head kind of thing. And so that's, to a certain extent, I was able to not get any kind of serious hoarse throats or anything like that from it. But make no mistake about it, when I go to a convention, to one of the Comic-Cons, right, and I'm signing and I'm talking all day long, and I'm doing the voice and I'm screaming and I'm yelling all day long, that does wreak havoc, because I would only go in for a couple of hours each time I'd record, and then it would be over,
I could see that.
So
Dead Space.
Do you not hear me? I was just trying to say
Leo
something.
was trying.
He was trying.
Jeez. You mentioned cons. What cons have you done recently?
Well, actually, recently, it was really nice from August through November, right? Within a 4-month period, I did 8 conventions, which was kind of cool, two a month averaging kind of thing, which was tremendous. I mean, a lot of these conventions kind of starting to come back, and pushing towards the end of the year. And so it all kind of jammed up together. I loved it. But I did, I was in most notable ones in the recent times I was in the Fanboy convention in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Fanboy
Expo.
Yep.
Are you familiar with Fanboy Expo?
Yes. Yeah. I am a nerd, sir. I'm familiar with everything.
David, God bless you. I did Rhode Island Comic-Con, which was a monster. That was a monster. That was by far the largest that I'd ever done. The Fanboy was pretty big too. Yeah. And then Grand Rapids Comic-Con, also very nice. And I've been in Orlando. I've been in Texas. Bouncing around to various places around. But those 3 are the most recent ones. Hill Country in Texas. I was in actually the Ancient City Comic-Con in St. Augustine, the only city in the. But sometimes you come around, you see these cool places that the environments around you.
It's like a
St.
regular
Augustine's
Comic-Con.
awesome.
Yeah, except for
there?
that Spanish moss. Yeah,
it's great stuff, right? Beautiful place, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I did get a picture of me and William Shatner in the Rhode Island Comic-Con.
Oh, nice.
And there's a video with me and Matthew Lillard of he and I, because we actually were both in the Courage Scooby crossover.
Mm-hmm.
He was Shaggy and I was Courage. So he didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I kind of invaded him.
Wow.
Invaded his environment and said, I know you're a big macha, Matthew, but just so you know, I'm the voice of Courage, the Cowardly Dog. And he was actually, oh, you are? He was actually a really nice guy.
Did he say zoinks?
Did
he say zoinks?
No, because I don't know enough about Scooby to even ask him that question.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I should know more about Scooby than I do, but
Well, that begs a big question. If you're not so into Scooby, what cartoons did you come up on? Like, were you like a Beanie and Cecil fan?
Lee, listen, Lee. This is a nerd question. Which cartoons did you grow up on? By the
Same
way,
ones I grew up on, most likely.
which ones did you grow up on, Lee?
Oh, it was Hanna-Barbera stuff and that whole era.
I loved I loved the
The Looney Tunes and all that shit.
Looney Tunes. So we are connected, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my favorite were the Looney Tunes, with the Looney Tunes one, Warner Brothers cartoons, because I love the idea of them being great for kids, but also a little wink to adults.
You're right.
As well. So I love that. And me being kind of a semi-smart kid, I got stupider when I got older, but I was pretty smart when I was a kid. And I remember I was able to get some of the jokes that they would be winking on, after when I was about, I remember 10, 11 years old, still, older, but still relatively young, but I was somewhat savvy. And so I was enjoying all the winks of Bugs Bunny, who is my all-time favorite. But I also loved the Flintstones, and I wasn't as huge a Hanna-Barbera guy, but I loved Huckleberry Hound for some reason. About his just very low key. He would be good for Token with whoever, right? He would be a good character for this particular environment. What is this particular environment?
So
I don't know. I've spent 2 years trying to figure it out. So.
So you say you're a fan of Bugs Bunny. What did you think of? Have you seen like the reboot that they just did on HBO? The new ones?
Oh, Space Jam?
Bugs Bunnies?
Yeah,
they did a reboot of Bugs Bunny.
Oh, yeah, Looney Tunes show. Yeah,
the Looney Tunes show. There's like I think there are 2 or 3 seasons now.
Really?
Yeah, brand new.
I didn't know anything about that.
Okay.
Tell me what your thoughts are.
I didn't care for it.
The voice acting's great. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, the voice acting is really good, but it's definitely a lot tamer. You can see they tried to grab the essence of the original Looney Tunes cartoon, but yeah, it's definitely very tame.
It sounds like it lost its snap.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's ironic because when you're looking at today's world, they like to talk about today's world like it's such a, it's more risque world that we're living in. And back then, late 50s and the early 60s, the beginnings of my childhood, it was supposed to be much tamer, until the real 60s came about, the real 1960s, the late 60s, right, in the early 70s. But up until that, it was viewed as very tame, very sedate. Lucy and Ricky sleeping in separate beds, Rob and Laura sleeping in separate beds. This is the content we're for here, right?
I love a great Dick Van Dyke Show reference, so that's fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. And so, but really the truth is we've become oddly more, I find that we are more prudish in the way we're going about doing things, and the underlying value system. It is less free than it used to be. All of this quote unquote freedom is being like kind of like pumped up or something, as if we're so free. I think we are. It's awful, really. The idea that it would be a tame Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
When you really
that just doesn't work for me.
No.
Well, that's why we didn't watch it, Lee.
Yeah.
We probably picked up the vibe in some way, and
Do you guys ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he dresses up like a girl bunny?
Oh, I used to love that. And see, there was also that.
That's an odd fucking question right there.
It's a Wayne's World quote, man.
We're allowed to curse on
Is
the
it?
show?
Yes.
We can curse on this show.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right?
All right, great. I used to love. I remember the one with the one with the monster.
Oh, Gossamer, yeah.
Monster that's shaped. The head is shaped like a heart. It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
And he's running after him. and just as the monster's coming up to him, suddenly Bugs is there with a little like nail salon thing going on. It's like, oh, I just love monsters. Come here. I love monsters are so wonderful, and he's doing the little thing, and it was just like, and in my mind, it was like, in today's world, that could never go over. Like, I guarantee you.
Today's world, it could, because we do have furries. So it's
no, but the idea of the homosexual, the idea that the implication would be that it's a homosexual that's saying, "Oh, I just love monsters," or if not a homosexual, then him doing a girl, him playing a girl, a la Milton Berle, who would play a girl, right? And somehow the implication would be homosexual, which is actually not even true, but people just got a kick out of guys doing female stuff, and guys always love doing female stuff. So that was back then. They were more advanced in some way. Now there's like a big, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into this or I'll get canceled. Shut down my shut down all my pages. I don't even. Let me hear Leo. Did I say anything?
I don't believe you did. I get what you know.
Not at all.
Yeah. So like, a lot of cartoons.
Yeah, if you notice, nobody argued with you.
Nobody argued, but nobody shut me down.
Well, think about how Scooby-Doo
has
changed
on
too.
this group. What's that?
See?
Even Scooby-Doo has changed since the 1960s. You go.
Yeah,
all
as
the way back.
I tried to watch the newest Scooby-Doo, I can't do it.
The best one was the one on Supernatural that they did. That was pretty crazy. But Scooby now is very different. Like, there's a lot of things that you wouldn't see, and things like even the way that they would just separate and go into their own little teams. Like, oh, Fred and Daphne go this way, and Velma and Scooby go this way. Even that kind of stuff has changed.
Yeah.
Where there's like gender role dynamics and things. It's like they put actual time and effort into thinking about like how a kid's going to react to what Scooby and Shaggy do or what they eat. It's like Sesame Street. You can't have cookies. Right. Cookies are a sometime thing. So it's one of those things that kind of changes with the time. Yeah. And Scooby is lucky enough to be a perennial favorite where every generation since it's come out has had some sort of revigoration of it, I'll say.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I just want to point out, I mean, Jeff, you say you can't watch the current one. You got to make sure that you watch Straight Out of Nowhere. So Scooby-Doo meets Cowardly.
I have not had a chance to see that yet, but that's one I'll definitely watch.
Okay.
I think it's a good one.
I've seen the trailer and stuff. Do we have the trailer?
We would get booted if we played it because that's
really,
that's the larger one. So,
all right, that sucks. Well, fuck them then. Fuck you.
Why would you get booted?
Certain content, if we play, there's like an automatic copyright strike. So, like if you play something, of a larger trailer, a lot of times the automatic system will like shut you down.
Even though the trailer's out in the public.
Yeah.
Trailer's out in the public, and you're promoting something that is like Warner Brothers would love it if you showed it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the people that own it would have no problem with it.
Right,
yeah.
But the algorithms will shut it down.
Yep. The algorithms will shut it down because we're living
Big Brother's watching.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is sick stuff going on in today's world. But anyway, so I think it's a really good film as crossovers go. I mean, listen, it's a crossover. So, I mean, we always know that whenever that happens, you have to honor both universes. And so each one, is going to have to lose a little something for the greater good of the. It's like what Larry David said about what a compromise is on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Basically, a compromise is when both sides, both parties walk away unhappy. That's actually no, actually, it's not true.
They said that on Star Trek Lower Decks, Leo.
Yeah.
No, I think it actually is really good. They did an amazing job of. First of all, I have to say, as Courage, it was really good for me because I think they really honored Courage. I think they really did, and they first of all, the fact that it's even in the title, Straight Out of Nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere is from Courage's universe. The fact that the Scooby Gang gets lost in nowhere. So the whole, most of the, like I would say, like 90% of the entire episode of the entire movie takes place in Courage's universe. So it's wonderful. And actually, without giving anything away, I will say that when it comes to the climax, Courage is really instrumental in the whole thing, in the climactic moments of the film. And I'm very happy about that. And also particularly moved by the fact that Thea White, who was Muriel in Courage, died actually about 7 or 8 months ago. And so that was she did this movie and she did not live to see it debut, but, and she does a wonderful job in it. So it's me and Thea. So they kind of had a special thing for me. It was wonderful, actually. I thought they did a great job. And my hope is, in terms of the fan base, I'm really hoping that people see that Courage definitely needs to be rebooted finally, once and for all, actually.
What do you think would be the best venue for a reboot for Courage? Do you think a show on an HBO Max or back to Cartoon Network? What do you think would be the best way to reach the audience?
Ooh, that's a question. The way I'm gonna answer that question, that I'm not clear enough or educated enough about the kind of overall mission statements of these networks. I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Nerd. What do you think would be good?
I would say that putting it in front of kids on some sort of streaming service where they could watch it and they could fall in love with the character and rewatch it, and that would be mine. But here's the thing. I never have any idea of how that affects you guys with royalties. So if that screws you guys over for royalties, then I'm against it, because then it's like, what's the point? Then it's just contract work. Yeah,
it totally screws us over for royalties. Yeah. Which seems to be the direction they're trying to go in. So I have a feeling it's only a matter of time before royalties is over. The way which is terrible, because I've made a lot of money on royalties of Courage,
I underwrite mortgages, so I do income calculations all the time with that. So it's a circumstance where you're just like, these people need this money. If you haven't done a movie since 1977 and you're still getting money from the royalties of that film, that's income. So it is important to these artists like yourself.
Yeah, of course it is. But here's what they say, and in the world today, the argument that they're making is that they're doing a whole lot more stuff. There's a whole lot more opportunities to work because they're doing more volumes and volumes of more projects. So there's more work to be done. So the idea is you get the one thing and you get the royalties, or you get a whole lot of things. Well, in real life, if you're going to ask me, would I rather just do one or two things and get the royalties? Or would I rather get 10 things and not get royalties? And my answer would be, it's a hard question to answer, but I would have to say the 10 things, because I'm an actor and I want to work and I want to act, and I'm not a youngster, as you can plainly see. Me and Lee talked about that, the age issue, and there was almost, see what I did just now? There was going to be silence.
There was, because
I told you about how I do that. I fill in the silence.
Well, led perfectly up to break time.
Break time.
We have to thank our sponsors.
We do. Speaking of paying out.
Nice segue.
Let me find the right button here. You know what? We'll just go right into commercial. Here we go. Prospect Theater movies are out. I just saw Spider-Man. Holy crap, was that amazing! In Prospect Theater, obviously you can see all the new first run movies. I'm pretty sure Spider-Man's playing there, but here we go.
Did you know around 83% of Americans with disabilities are unemployed? We are changing that. The Prospector Theater is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to providing competitive and integrated employment for adults with disabilities through the operation of a first-run movie theater in Ridgefield, Connecticut. We greet, seat, and treat our audiences to the best, most accessible movie-going experience in the world. Hollywood blockbusters, delicious gourmet popcorn, and one-of-a-kind pink glove service. Join us for a movie and see our sparkle in action. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit www.prospectortheater.org.
And Token with the Dead episode 2 is about to drop. Check it out.
Fucked up nightmare.
And if you can't get enough of Ben and Jeff, they also have some hot sauce. There we go. Commercials
That
done.
is. Can I just say something? You have to say something, or go?
No, I'm done.
That was. First of all, I now am remembering Bill Diamond, Toking with the Dead. I remember now.
It's all coming back to you.
Coming back to me. That's absolutely. You know what it was? I saw the sign. I saw his symbol. I didn't notice that was his name, and I saw the symbol made it. Bill Diamond. There it is. The great, glorious Bill Diamond. Love him.
Yes.
What an amazing man, amazing creative force of nature, really. And it's a pleasure to be a friend of his. He's
awesome.
He really is great. And so I was happy to see that. And I did want to also mention that Deadly Grounds.
Oh yeah.
Love Deadly Grounds. I forgot the names of the guy, the name of the guy that runs it. Do you know?
Tom, I can never say his last name right. Laleos?
Tom Laleos, yeah.
Yeah.
And good guy, and I taste this stuff is fantastic. I've been so tanked up at the convention for doing all these quick little
because of samples,
samples would be I'd be crazed. And just loved his stuff, and it was good seeing that. And the what's his name? Dr. Evil, who Father Evil.
Father Evil.
Also a really good guy. So there's wow, all this.
Tom's awesome. It's Yeah, he's been supporting the network, for the longest time, and he would hit us up like when we did cons with him. I'd hit him up first thing in the morning, at the con, and he'd, instead of a little sample, he'd fill my big travel mug, and I was all set for a while.
And the hot sauce, whose hot sauce is that?
That's Jeff Levine from Silk City Hot Sauce. It's a exclusive blend that we did with him. So it's an exclusive to Token with the Dead called Erotic Fever.
Wow. I talked to you about I'd like to get some of that hot sauce.
We'll get you some of that hot sauce.
Get me some of that hot sauce, man. However you need me to do it, I'll do it. Because
doesn't matter how old you are. That shit'll make you drip.
Wow. Image for the people out there.
That's the erotic part.
Yeah. That's the erotic part.
Speaking of dripping,
hey.
No, I just want to say in the comments here, I put a link, Amazon link. It's available for pre-order right now, so definitely get your pre-orders in. But the Courage to Cowardly Dog Funko Pop is available on Amazon.
Outstanding.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think it comes out in 3 weeks. And so if you pre-order, you don't have to worry about the scalpers. You can, Amazon will just ship it to you.
That's awesome.
That's what I do.
Who doesn't need a pink toy?
It's incredible. Absolutely.
Funkos you can't get enough of them.
Well, I got an order of 50 coming in and then another 50. I got 100 coming in at some point.
Nice. And you're going to autograph them and sell them?
Yeah, I'll bring a few when I go to the conventions. And then the idea being that I know that people also will have their own and they'll come to, see me and they want to find it. But and then I have an agent who is going to be setting up a kind of a online concession, so to speak, if people want to purchase those things.
Speaking of Deadly Grounds, Tom's in the chat room. Marty, how are you, bud?
How are you, man?
He says, hoping we can connect at the con next year.
What's that?
He says, hoping we can connect at the con next year.
Yeah, at a con. I'm surprised. I could have keep waiting for you to come to another one that I've been at. But you're probably just doing different ones than mine. You too, man.
Yeah, he says, miss you, bud. Yeah.
You should try to do a Courage the Cowardly blend, something like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Maybe a light roast. What flavor would that be if you're going to pick a Courage blend for coffee?
I just call it Courage Coffee.
Yeah,
but what flavor though? What
would it have? A flavor?
What flavor?
Yeah, is it decaf? I don't know.
No,
definitely
decaf.
Double calf. He's so high strung, it's double calf.
Is it like a chocolate raspberry? Is it
Muriel's blend? Yeah,
it probably is.
Oh.
Yeah, Muriel's blend.
Oh, Tom says anything you want.
What is he saying?
Anything you want.
Wait.
So I don't know if you know this, but he does special roasts. He did one. I'm trying to think who he did recently. There was some actor, but you talk to Tom.
Buzz, right?
Yeah.
Bud.
Yeah.
All right, do me a favor. Could you do this for me? Because I don't, yes. Tom, you have my phone number. I don't.
Butch Patrick.
Butch Patrick. There it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about Butch Patrick?
Oh, so he did Butch Patrick did a special blend with Deadly Grounds. It was his brand of coffee through Deadly Grounds.
All right, we have to talk about this. So Tom, I need your contact information. Can I get it from these guys?
Oh, Dracula Dark Roast. That was.
Oh,
Butch.
nice.
Yeah, we'll get you, Tom.
Yeah, we'll make sure that happens.
Yeah, make sure that happens. Definitely.
Yeah, we'll make sure that happens.
Yes.
Tom's an awesome dude.
It's exciting, guys. It's like a marketing meeting now.
I know. Look at this.
Like what else? What else can we get Courage to endorse? Do you think? That's good.
Yeah.
Get some of that Scooby Doo money, guys.
What do you think I am, a hooah? I'm a hooah for the money? Did you think I am?
No. This is for you to get back those royalties.
No, I know.
Tom,
Merry Christmas to you too, Tom.
I don't want to brag. I'm actually drinking Deadly Grounds as we speak. So
well, I gotta get that. All right, we'll figure that out to everybody. So what are the questions for me?
Well, go ahead, Leo.
Yeah,
go ahead.
The question here,
Go ahead.
Jeff, you always talking over me, Jeff. Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
My wife says the same thing.
Okay, so I was going to ask, what do you think it is about courage for the longevity of fandom? We're talking about 20 years now since the show's been over, and you still have, everybody loves Courage. Why do you think made him so special?
Honestly, and I'm finding it more and more myself, when I go to these conventions, I'm like, people love this thing. I mean, it's like people get like, these people come up to me, and I would have to say the primary fan base are people in their 20s to early 30s, but it even goes as far back as like, people in their early teens and stuff who watched it on redos or whatever, repeats. And I think it's a combination. First of all, it's a really excellent cartoon. I think it's well written. It's edgy. It crosses over into that scary, because at times it's pretty, disturbing. In a fun way, but can be disturbing. And it's beautiful, visually beautiful, with all the backdrops, and it's really painstaking, like in the old style of cartoons, rather than everything being done computer generated, and I really think the character itself is just, as I say, is this terrified little vulnerable creature who's very charming and very neurotic and really horribly terrified, and the idea of facing fear, like I said earlier, and then moving forward and kind of saving the day. It's kind of like Schwarzenegger can save the day, and Bruce Willis can save the day, but these are big, The Rock, and these are big characters that are up against the forces of evil. It's just a little creature who's terrified. The idea of facing your fear and moving forward and doing it in a funny way, because it's legitimately a funny show, and these kids grow up on this, and a lot of kids, are in, difficult situations. Growing up is hard anyway. In the world we live in, it's difficult. A lot of the people that like Courage, and certainly people that are fans of this whole, genre, often are, people that are, I don't want to say the word misfits, like it's like the island of misfit toys, of which I fit into personally. As you would say, Justin, you're a nerd. You said to me, you're a nerd, right? And by the way, I keep calling you Lee. Did you notice that, Jeff? You never corrected me. Kept calling
Why
you
would I? I
Sorry.
thought you were talking. Whenever you said Lee, I thought you were talking to Leo.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So just remember that all those zingers that you thought were for Leo was actually for you.
So now you need to go back and rewatch it.
Well, that's disturbing.
I thought he thought you were Jeff Lee from ELO.
Oh man, Jeff Lynn.
Oh yeah, Jeff Lynn. Okay, all right.
Anyway, okay. So back to the story. So I think it's like a lot of these kids, are struggle with anxiety. They come up. They tell me this. There's many kids that are Asperger's, and they come up to me, and they are just such like, they are so moved. They are so absolutely moved by this character. When they see me, sometimes tears come to their eyes, or they hug, and they're like, you're my child. And then a lot the people that aren't part of like the Island of Misfit Toys are just, we're all in a sense part of the Island of Misfit Toys to a certain extent. we're all kind of have our own anxieties and our own struggles and our own pain that we walk through, and so there's a kind of that they think about their own pain, and then courage gives them comfort. They view them as like a comfort for them. And they always say the courage got me through these tough times. They would say that. I think a cartoon that can do that is kind of special. I would say it's kind of special. There are popular, fun cartoons that everybody loves. It's fun characters, and we love them. And funny and wild and action, but something that can dig deep into someone's psyches, or something that can have an emotional connection. I think it's wonderful. And so when you say everybody loves Courage, I would like to believe that so many more people love Courage than I thought. But it seems as if a whole lot of people don't necessarily understand what courage is.
How can you not love a little pink dog?
It's true. And then when they see me, it's a little surreal, and when they hear me, because the fact that I'm the voice of that cute little pink dog, and look at me, listen to me.
I think that's great.
See, that was one of those. I wanted to
Yeah.
How much time
we saw
after that moment?
We saw just before we started that exact circumstance that you described when my daughter came on, and I said, "Hey, Gracie, do you want to meet the voice of Courage?" And you saw her, and my daughter is anxiety. She has anxiety, and she is on the Asperger's spectrum as well. So it's a circumstance like you literally telegraphed the exact person who it's like, yes, and I mean you saw she was elated, so. It's fantastic.
Wonderful. My son has autism, so I have a special place in my heart for those in the Asperger's world, because I could talk to them about how I could be a voice that says I understand about autism, but I also get to whatever they struggle with, to remind them that they're able to speak and have a conversation and able to communicate their needs, and able to, my son, it's very, very severe in terms of his difficulties in being able to have, he can't have a conversation. And so, God bless him. Matthew is wonderful. And I'm very, grateful to have him in my life. And I love him. And he has his own way of communicating. He's sharp in his own way. But when I see somebody with Asperger's who is, it's like I can be a voice of comfort for them. I hope to be, because, as much as you do, it takes, as much as I'm sure you are, it does take a village in a sense to,
absolutely,
of support systems for these people, and to let help them be what they're capable of being. And they're capable of being wonderful beings in this world. They are wonderful beings in this world. And so your daughter, God bless her. So, see, I got that.
She's all right.
Got the God in there.
One thing we didn't touch on that I wanted to mention, we were talking about earlier on, is you're a big fan of Woody Allen. And do you channel any of that sort of energy into the character of Courage? Because I definitely can kind of see it a little bit. And I was just curious about that.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you. Listen, the thing is, yes, I am a huge Woody Allen fan, and I'm proud to say that, despite whatever alleged misdoings or misdeeds, and some are not even alleged, and some of the misdeeds, but the most recent ones are very alleged and have not been, totally proven. But the bottom line is you can't really negate and cancel an entire body of wonderful, insightful, and great humor work because the person is fucked up in some way.
He's so messed up.
But I don't know what I believe about. I don't know that I believe. I'm waiting for indubitable approval, proof that everything has happened the way it has. But the bottom line is it doesn't matter, because he's been canceled anyway by so many people. You get canceled even before, you know, you're guilty until proven innocent in the culture that we reside in today, unfortunately. But as far as in courage, yeah, I go like that's like
Right.
Woody Allen. That is Woody. I never even thought of it until you mentioned that to me just now. That probably is somewhat informed by what that kind of thing that Woody Allen would do, right? And you know, and also what I've always loved, you know, so informing that his character, I would say probably so, and the very neurotic, the idea that extremely neurotic. Mel Brooks was never thought of as very neurotic. He just
See, I see a lot of Jackie Gleason in you,
in me.
in your personality and the way that you express yourself.
Absolutely. That's very, very true. And thank you for that. I love Jackie Gleason, love the Honeymooners, and certainly my size, my vocal character, and, you know, kind of
You have that persona.
Yes, that kind of yes, very much Jackie Gleason informs my but you know what's interesting, you talk about what informs courage, and it's an interesting thing because I'm an actor, right? So I do, you know, I mean, voiceover is not really the primary thing that I have done in my life. Anything I've done, mostly it's either television character work on TV shows or independent films, stage, comedy, all of that stuff, but like live, not voiceover. Courage was more of an anomaly for me, you know, in terms of my career. So you know, as an actor, you know, when I go to these conventions, it's kind of an interesting thing because now what happens? You go to the convention, what happens? So they pay for you they fly you out there. They pay for your hotel. The convention does. The promoter of the convention does. They pay for your hotel. They give you per diem. And then you set up a table with a banner and all your stuff on the table, and you sell stuff. You sell things. You sell your signature on things, on various things, or a photo with you. No, it's a very, I mean, it's the supreme capitalistic sensibility, right? And you know, it never ceases to amaze me because I don't really, first of all, I would never buy an autograph from anyone. And not only never buy one, I don't even care about anybody's autograph. But, you know, like I never wanted autographs. So it's kind of interesting that autographs are really financially helping me, but it's also not only helping me financially, it's helping me connect with people, to connect with the fans, you know, and the more these I go to, you know, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fans coming up and talking to me and speaking to them. It's a wonderful thing. But here's what happens. What happens is that, like, you guys are talking to me, right? I'm the voice of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Who talks like this? What do I do? What do I do? I'll save you, Muriel, or whatever. Like, I'll say these lines, right? And, you know, people are excited, that character. Once I've done that, then I'm just doing me. Then I'm just doing me on steroids or on deadly ground. One or the other. Boom, boom. But just, it's so like I'm actually, you know, so sometimes I do these videos and I'm just talking, I'm going over here, and it is very Jackie Gleason, Jeff, in terms of the way you know, the way, yes, you know, what am I doing? I'm just screaming and yelling and making a circus out of things. And I'm doing it in this voice.
Right.
So it's almost like courage jumpstarts me, right? And now it's the gun has been fired, the bullet has landed, and now this big, boisterous, bravado-ridden Marty Grabstein is what you're getting now, with the waving of the hands and all of that stuff. That's what you're getting.
It's fantastic.
And I love it.
Courage.
I think it's awesome. I love it.
So thanks. So it's kind of a fun thing that I get to do that. So I'm sort of invented sort of my own persona. It kind of exists on my Facebook page. I post things like that on now more on Instagram and all that stuff. But
we should do a comedy where you're the plant guy growing some cannabis plants.
I used to be a big fan of that, and I still have respect for the cannabis world and for cannabis's legitimately medicinal characteristics. And for sure, I have not done anything. I haven't had anything since in about 35 years. And that was just because I chose to just get all of those, drinking all kinds of any kind of mind-altering substances out of my, I got rid of all of it. So it was nothing to do with a judgment about marijuana. It had to do with the way I was handling all that stuff. So I chose to clean it all out. But I'm always been a big old fan of the cannabis world. And it's so interesting to see now more and more you're getting the medical aspects of marijuana, which of old, right? The Native Americans and Indians from other cultures use some of this sort of stuff for medicinal purposes, some of this kind of this plants and things like that. But anyway, so yes, you see, I went off on this whole cannabis rant, but I felt
what was the reference to the part you played of the plant guy?
Yeah, dog's down here. That's my wife, by the way. You're live.
Hi, wife.
Hello.
Hello.
So with for somebody looking to become a voice actor, what recommendations would you give to them?
What recommendations?
I'll take notes.
What recommendations would I give? Well,
yeah, somebody's just starting to get out into the voice acting world.
Well, firstly, I would definitely say that before you even start, there's two things I would recommend. First of all, ask yourself the question: do you want to be a voice actor or do you want to be an actor? If your answer is I want to be a voice actor, my opinion is that I would say that's the wrong answer. You should want to be an actor, or at least understand acting on some level, to understand what acting is, so that you're not just doing these funny voices because you think you could do that. Everybody told me I should be a voice actor because they said I have a great voice, and I understand you have a great voice and you're very expressive. That's great. You might be able to sidestep it and just go directly to voice acting. But I would say get into an acting class, get your feet wet or something, work on some stuff, learn a monologue, learn a little bit about what it's like to just use your voice and your body in a real life situation. Secondly, I would say if you really then want to go to the voice acting thing, I would say take a class, take a voiceover class, which there's tons of and many online now more than ever. So there's no excuse if there's none in your area anymore. It's one of the good things about this virtual horse pee that we've been over the last 2 years, which is that you could definitely get to, you could don't have to be somewhere in order to get the benefit of what experiencing that is going to do for you. So I would say take a voiceover class and work on the techniques of that. And then usually they then help you put a reel together, then get your reel together. And then now you're on the road. Now you start submitting and, to agents and casting people and all that stuff. But first do those other things, right? Really, because it's a horrible profession, really. It's a nightmare profession. I mean, and yet it's so beautiful when you get to work. It's so, inspiring and wonderful. And so you have to really love it. You can't just be doing it because you think you're going to make some money doing it, because it could be very troublesome. We'll do another hour on that.
Right.
Yeah, you shouldn't follow anything for the money. You got to follow it with your passion. And
yes.
And if you don't love it, don't do it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm still stuck on horse pee. I grew up on a farm, and horses can pee a hell of a lot.
Yep.
Wow. So I wanted to ask you, Marty, about your you have a new project that's currently in post, right? Because I love the title of it. I just love the title of it.
Yeah, it's what is the title? I want to hear how you say it.
No. I want to hear you say it.
Hunter is fucked. But
okay, there you go.
I'm so excited.
But the U and the C are asterisked or hashtagged, so you don't see like they've been like censored deliberately.
Right.
Hunter is F *******, right? Because you're then allowed to show that if you don't show the whole word. And it's basically a short film, very, very loosely based on Hunter S. Thompson, which I know at least Jeff knows from Hunter S. Thompson. And I don't know, you guys on the younger side, you guys familiar with Hunter S. Thompson?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you talk about Bill Murray and Where the Buffaloes Roam, or you've got, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yes. So Hunter S. Thompson, always been a big, hero of mine, wonderful character. It's such an offbeat character, prone to ridiculous excess, out of control with controlled substances and living this really fast lane life. Brilliant writer and brilliant, rebel, journalist, creating kind of his own, which was then very new, a new form of journalism, gonzo journalism, where you actually insert, where the journalist is actually inserted into the experience of the article or of the piece. And so he's living it. He's living the piece. And so it's very, and then he gets to kind of, to say that he's a journalist with, he's not a dispassionate journalist, but he's not lying about being dispassionate like the journalists of today. He's actually giving his opinions, and that's part of the deal. Great character, wonderful, brilliant guy, very astute, with somehow also a strong bit of morality amidst insanity that he represents. And so I basically, somebody wrote a short play, a one-act play in the theater company I'm a part of called Theater 68 in the city. And we did this one-act play festival, and he used Hunter S. Thompson as a character, and I got to play him, and I got very excited about playing him, and I said, I want to produce a short film, not like where I get to play Hunter S. Thompson. And I felt such an affinity with the guy. And so I produced it, and I got my my partner, Rick Mowat of Snack Pack Productions, to direct it and also write it. We came up with the story together, but he basically wrote it. And a whole different story from the one act. It was just its own special thing. And it's about 17 minutes. It's in post-production right now. And we're, it's really a wonderful, I'm very excited about it. I think I'm happy with the way it's looking. I'm happy, I'm usually very, very probably overly critical of my stuff. I think I'm on the right course with what I've done with this character. So I'm very excited for people to see me do this character, even though I'm a fat guy, and Hunter S. Thompson was a fat guy. But we addressed the fat part in the movie, just in case anybody's, well, wait a second, he does look like Hunter S. Thompson, but he's kind of gained some, I don't know if Hunter S. Thompson's ever been that heavy. So we deal with that. And it's addressed, it's kind of humorous. So it's funny and it's also a little bit wacky, So very excited about it. So be on the lookout. Check on my my Instagram page and my Facebook page. You'll be hearing more about it.
Right.
So,
We can find that information in the show notes. Where, Leo?
Up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And I know I'm going to butcher this name. Kylie Anna Johnson is she has a couple questions. And I know we covered this earlier, but she's asking, how did you originally come up with the concept for Courage's voice?
well, honestly, Kylie, I mean, really, what I just did was I didn't think about it. I didn't come up with anything. I just went into the office completely, in the audition, completely and it just came to me to go. Well, it actually came to me to go like this. I was going like this, actually, and I was doing it. Then I sounded more like Woody Allen, actually. I used to say that. And then John Dilworth had me pitch it high. When he had me pitch it up here, that was it. That was the character. And it's been the same in terms of the way the voice was since that day. That was the voice that I used in all of the episodes, including the Courage Scooby movie. Straight out of nowhere.
It's like a professional segue right there.
She's also asking, did you have any influences that shaped your method? And she said also I did great on her name.
You did great on the name?
Yeah.
It shaped my method of acting, you mean?
Did you have any influences that shaped your method?
My acting method, I guess that's what she means.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I mean, acting wise, I want to go ahead and say probably interesting. I know that I was always a fan of Brando. I looked at that kind of that method thing where you're like experiencing a kind of truth, but at the same time, Jackie Gleason, it's funny you should say that, Jackie Gleason's point of style of acting, which is just, and to a similar extent, Zero Mostel.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Spot on.
Barreling through there and eating up the scenery. So the idea of just expressing yourself fully, and you could always rein it in, which I was asked to do many, many times. Marty, too much. And so you could rein it in. Hard to pull it out. Hard to bring it out more, but you can rein it in. So yes, I would say probably what I go ahead and said early on, Jackie Gleason and Zero Mostel.
Nice.
If anyone's listening doesn't know who Zero Mostel is, funny thing happened on the way to the forum or the producers, probably two big ones. On Broadway, I believe he was in the production of Fiddler on the Roof. One of my absolute favorite actors of all time.
Love him.
I know we are coming close on time. I just wanted to, for those of you just joining, I know I keep on seeing people pop in and out. I just put a link again. Courage the Cowardly Dog Funko Pop is available for pre-order on Amazon. I put that link in the show notes. That was just my error popping through.
Hey, go get one. Everybody needs a little pink thing, man.
Oh yeah. She's asking, what was your favorite project or work? So between like voice acting, Law and Order, Third Watch, I even saw you Blacklist. Of all your projects, what has been your favorite so far?
It's hard to say. I mean, listen, it's hard for me to separate. Certainly the one that has gotten me the most mileage for me in the business would be Courage, certainly. And so it's very hard for me not to say that's my favorite. But since we're actually, if we're just speaking about totally as an actor, there was a thing I did. I've never said this in an interview, by the way, Kylie. So first time I've ever said this, that I played, I was 20 years old. I was in college, Cortland State, and I played a role from a play called When You're Coming Back, Red Rider, and by Mark Meadoff. And it was about a very dangerous man who walks into a diner and starts off real friendly like, and then begins to slowly but surely take over the diner and terrorize the whole group of them, and takes them through a series of a series of machinations, and I'm making them act things out as a way of my understanding of their particular hypocrisies, and I'm going to do something of them, but it's really a terrifying guy. And so I had never played a terrifying guy before that. I'd always played, friendly, funny, neurotic, whatever it would be, characters. So the idea of me being cast in which was considered to be, they were saying they shouldn't have came. The director was saying, why did you cast Marty for that? And it was really, for me, still to this very day, one of the great moments I've ever had in my early days as an actor, because I recognized that I could do what I put my mind to doing. And then I was very terrifying, and I was able to do that. And I was very excited that I could do that. And it continues to be that reality continues to exist to this very day. In the Blacklist I did, which I had literally maybe a minute long scene with James Spader, but I played a character that was very disturbing and kind of frightening character who has a few lines but barely speaks. But there's a kind of intimidation about him. It's quiet underpinning of intimidation that I was able to key into. And so I was able to see the dark side of myself from this play I did when I was 20 years old. So maybe that's my favorite thing I ever did.
That's an out-of-the-box experience is what it is.
Yes, absolutely out of the box. 100%.
Very cool.
Nice.
I had another question, but Jeff, I wanted to see if you had anything before I ask mine. I didn't want to take up the whole thing.
No, I wanted to ask. This is going to be a really, really weird question, but years back, what kind of a trolley driver were you? I mean, did you have to have a microphone and shit?
I never drove a trolley in my life.
Are you sure?
I don't even drive.
Then why is that in your stuff? See?
Because I've tried to get rid of it unsuccessfully.
See, that's funny.
I haven't cared enough, and I should care more.
Well, when you meet guys like me, it's going to come up.
It's come up many times. Hold on.
Nice.
Yeah, Carliana says, thank you for answering. I really liked your character work on SVU. Very sad when he died. And she said she loves your work. She's a huge fan.
Oh, thank you. Bless you. Is this still Kylie?
Still Kylie. We got a bunch of people watching, so don't be shy. Post in the comments if you have questions. So it's
that's a lie.
It's a lie.
Is that on Wikipedia?
No, that was on IMDb.
And you know what? I went ahead and purchased IMDb Pro because I heard with that you could get more.
Yeah, you can go in and edit your own stuff.
Well, yes, but it's not that simple. You can't just remove a whole thing because there's numerous lies within that thing that people have created. So, I keep saying I want to remove it. You can't remove the whole thing. You got to remove bits and pieces. It's got to get approved. It's still the whole hoopla. And I had somebody do it for me, and it didn't work. And will I ever say no to a character?
Yeah.
Well, I said yes. I said no to an audition for a commercial that my guess is I'm going to go ahead and say I probably would have gotten in. I can't say the reason because it's probably a controversial reason. So rather than say it, I will just suffice it to say the commercial would have been me saying stuff and trying to sound real, not like I'm acting the part, but that it's really me that is endorsing something which my heart and soul does not endorse, and I'm against. So my morality in that case had me say to the agent, I'm sorry, but I can't do this audition because certain reason. I didn't get too deep into it either.
You shouldn't have to. It's that simple.
You got to be true to yourself,
But right. The answer is no. But then, of course, everybody's got their price, huh? If they offered me, $100,000 to say that shit, would I have taken the $100,000?
There's the Jackie Gleason coming out,
right?
Then you got to wonder, I could be all moral. It went against my morals. That is correct. But as I was saying, people do have their price. I don't know what my price would be to have said that.
It sounds like it was 100,000.
Yeah, right.
Still don't know if I would have done it. I might have been able to bullshit myself that it's okay that I did it. That's the thing. Can you bullshit yourself enough to convince yourself that it's okay to do it because of the money? This is the question of the modern world that we live in today. One of the very important questions of the modern world.
So last question I have for you before we wrap things up, and we'll make sure everybody has a chance to get their questions in. But what makes you, everybody's a dork in their own way. What makes you a dork? What are you dorky about? For example, we talked to Bruce Valanche, and he loves
Titanic.
Like sunken ships. He loves like the history of like sunken ships. What is like something that you're passionate about that's like outside the norm?
Like a type of thing that I did.
Yeah, like, are you like a huge Star Trek fan?
I'm a huge horror fan. I'm a big fan of horror. Always have been a huge horror, big fan of Stephen King, and I'm kind of an aficionado of horror and have read about the history. Like I'm kind of well read on the subject, and I guess I throw in the A and the B. I'm also have always been a big fan of the comic book world, though not today's comic book world, but the old style comic book world from the 1950s, the Tales from the Crypt and those horror comics, and certainly Marvels, and the before Marvel has become I get part of the establishment, but it had a kind of an anti-establishment quality to it, which I dug. But yeah, I guess horror, one could say that as far as the out of the box thing, I would certainly call horror certainly one of my biggest loves that makes me a nerd, if you will, or my particular nerd.
Now, do you have a specific style of horror that you like, whether it be slashers or horror comedy?
I will enjoy the slasher, stuff every now and again, like certain slasher stuff. But I prefer things like for me, a big one is The Exorcist is certainly one of the great. I like Birds. I like horror. Even The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense, I would characterize as very high class horror film, which is a very deep emotion, moral sensibility, and certainly some of the more, the old, Outer Limits.
Oh yeah.
That horror that kind of makes you think a little bit, and then of course the old Universals. The slasher stuff gets old after a while.
Right.
Somehow Texas Chainsaw Massacre, though, has a special place in my heart. The original one.
Right. So here comes Leo. So I got a movie for you. You want to check out? It's called "Don't Fuck in the Woods."
Wow. Wow, that's a good one, and that would probably speak to some of these slasher films, right?
Well, it's a no. Well, no, not at all. It's a B movie. I don't want to give it away. So
Okay.
just go check it out. It's called "Don't Fuck in the Woods."
He tries to bring it up every episode.
There's some nuance in there. Right? There's our rating. Yeah.
I love it.
Jeremy says, if you could, who would you cosplay? And Kylie Anna asks, have you ever been offered a role with Mark Hamill for voice acting?
Never with Mark Hamill. I think he's out of my my financial bracket. Yeah, I don't think so. Never with Mark Hamill. No, I would love to. I would love to, because I do love Star Trek. Actually, Star Wars. Sorry, Star Trek. Star Wars. Big fan. I have seen all 9 of them, even though really the middle 3 is still the best.
Oh yeah.
Got to tell the truth about that. But as far as cosplay, I would have to, if I was somebody put a gun to my head and say cosplay, I'd have to be Ben Grimm. Right?
There we go.
Thing, right? That would be, for me, would make the most sense. Me and Mark
do wonderful roles. I
talk
think
to Mark. Tell Mark to reach out to me.
I love him on regular show. Mark Hamill was doing skips on that one. If you guys had ever seen that on Cartoon Network,
actually.
So he does have that Cartoon Network pedigree where he has done some work with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
I forgot about that.
He was also in. They revealed it was him in Mandalorian.
Oh, no kidding!
Yeah. Yeah, did you see Mandalorian, Marty?
I saw the first few episodes, loved it, and I just lost track of it. So I'm about to launch into redoing that. Going through it.
You should totally binge it. Like this week if you can, because Boba Fett's starting next week. So Boba Fett, yeah, he's getting his own series, yeah.
Leo, how is it that you haven't mentioned that Marty is 1 degree separated from the Marvel Cinematic Universe? James Spader played Ultron, and no one said anything?
It was on my mind, but I just love James Spader.
Yeah, I enjoyed working with him. It was great working with him.
I loved him in Stargate. That's my go-to James Spader. That and Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Mm-hmm.
My wife
in the Valley.
My wife absolutely loves Blacklist. That's one show we got to make sure that we always watch as soon as it's on.
So check out my episode if you get a chance. I said it's a short, but it's kind of fun little.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we've seen it. We've seen all of them, so it's but we'll go back and rewatch it.
I had just
very
one
good.
question I was going to ask. I see a couple Beatles albums back there behind you. What's your go-to Beatles song?
Oh, I don't have one. My go-to song?
Yeah, do you have one that you find you always come back to? Maybe one that makes you stop and think, one with a special memory? Maybe one that you belt out with that guitar you have back there?
Well, I'll tell you that one then. It's I Saw Her Standing There.
Nice. Solid choice.
Oh, she was just 17. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just so like, yeah. Just it's such a dad from Matilda. Wow, this is great. So yes, I go to that one, but I'm a huge Beatle fan, and actually as a go-to thing, I mean, I could probably mention my 10 favorite Beatles songs, and many of them being in more the later, not the early ones, though there's some great ones from the early ones for sure. But I would say maybe I don't know that there's a single song that the Beatles have ever done that wasn't at least good, if not great, right?
That's absolutely
right.
I agree with that. It's
can't argue that, right?
Maybe everybody doesn't love Octopus's Garden, but I like it.
I love Octopus's Garden. That's a terrific song. I mean, it's not one of my favorites. But
exactly.
Song.
I'd like to be.
Did you see Yesterday?
Yes, I did.
That was
Yeah,
good.
such a good movie. Yeah.
I loved it. A lot of people did not love it. I loved it. I was a huge fan of that movie. It was so great. I don't want to give anything away. People should watch it. But when that couple, said, basically without giving anything away, when that couple said, the world without the Beatles, the world would be a less enjoyable place.
Yeah.
Totally proven true.
That having Beatles in our world was and still is. Crazy.
Yeah. Awesome movie. Yeah. Visit he did on was he Living on the Beach?
Yeah, John Lennon.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't want to bring that up because it's a surprise, but that's okay. Doesn't matter.
He meant V.I. Lennon.
By now, too bad, guys.
I wasn't sure who it was, but Justin had to say.
Back forever, right?
Right. All right, Leo, you got another show coming up, right?
I do. What
are you doing tonight?
Tonight, well, we'll definitely talk about. There's a new trailer for Doctor Strange, the new movie coming out. I'll definitely talk about my experience seeing Spider-Man, but definitely no spoilers. Season finale of Hawkeye was, oh my God, that was so good.
Wow.
The after the credits, Disney gave everybody an awesome Christmas present. At the after credit scene, oh my God, so awesome. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah, totally. So I definitely want to urge everybody, check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us tonight, to find all the information about Marty and for all of us here. For me, I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got a ton of shows on the network, a lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. Marty, where do you like fans interacting with you on social media?
Well, here's the thing. I'm certainly pretty solid with Facebook, but I am now trying to expand my Instagram. And I'm working on doing that. So give a yell out to my Instagram, follow me on Instagram. But Facebook is where there's more wordy stuff, on Messenger or whatever that might be. So Facebook Messenger. So, and I get those messages and I really try to answer as many of them as possible. I really try to be due diligence. So apologize if I don't get back to you sometimes, but I try to get back to it. So give it a shot. Please do. Facebook, you have the information, right? It's
in the show notes.
Right.
Up above or down below.
Right. So, both of those, Instagram and Facebook, and give a yell out and keep an eye out for Hunter is F. Hunter is fun. Anyway, go ahead and check that out. It's going to be very cool.
Awesome. Are you going to start a TikTok?
Maybe.
We'll
people keep talking to me about that. Maybe I'm going to have to do that, I guess.
I think you should.
Me in the real world, in this real
world. Justin.
You can find me in the audience of Still Toking with, right? So I'll be there watching the shows with you. You can find me on the Dorkening Network on various shows and Geek Life HQ. How about that?
Awesome. And Jeremy, yes, I did cry on Spider-Man. Jeffrey, take us out, buddy.
Excellent. I will take us out. Thank you, Justin, for filling in. Ben, I hope you're feeling better. I don't know if you watched any of the show or not. Marty, it has been a blast and honor to have you on. I look forward to doing it in the future. As far as we go, Facebook, Talking with the Dead, but look us up, stilltoking.com. You'll find all the information right there. And just so everybody knows, issue 5 was just released publicly, I think 2 days ago. So go to stilltoking.com and you'll be able to find that issue is available. Episode 2 will be dropping soon. I'm going to tell everybody we do have it in hand. So everybody have a great night and peace out. Be safe out there.
Pleasure, and wish Ben the best. God bless.
I will do that. Thank you.
Hope he feels better.
Have a good night.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you.